Today I learned that rats become more emotionally resilient when they are taught how to drive a small vehicle. Just learned that cheetahs are so shy that zoos give them their own emotional support dogs. In 1847, a doctor performed an amputation in 25 seconds, operating so quickly that he accidentally amputated his assistant's fingers as well. Both later died of sepsis, and a spectator reportedly died of shock, resulting in the only known procedure with a 300% mortality rate. Nice job, idiot. Surgery, no mercy speedrun. Almost 50% of men think they could land an aeroplane with no training if the pilots were incapacitated. I mean, I could land it, but if you want the plane and passengers back, probably not. Armadillos are just tactical assault possums. Troops of 15 monkeys escaped a primate research center in Japan by using trees as catapults over a 5-meter high electric fence, and afterwards were lured back with peanuts. Monkey brain. If we pull back this tree, we can use its preserved momentum to hurl ourselves over the dangerous fence. Also monkey brain. Oh, peanut. The stethoscope was invented because a French doctor felt uncomfortable placing his face on a younger woman's chest. The absolute gentleman. Supreme woman respecter. Today I learned gorillas only have B-type blood. B for banana. I was today years old when I realized that the caps on medicine bottles are actually serving sizes. I used this method with Adderall, and I'm currently cutting my grass with scissors. Squirrels' brains grow in size during the fall to help them remember where they buried their nuts. Their brains are smaller the rest of the year. Post-nut clarity. Frogs can be hypnotized by laying them on their backs and stroking their stomachs. Snails can sleep up to 3 years, and 3% of ice in the Antarctic glaciers is just penguin urine. This guy is hogging all the facts. Reminder to parents to please check your kids' Halloween candy. Just found this in my son's Skittles. Bleach? What type of irresponsible person is putting bleach in a Skittles bag? Seize them. Squids have their brain shaped like a donut, and their esophagus runs through it. If the squid eats something too big, it can result in severe brain damage. Damn, cold world. We've all been there. List of squid weaknesses updated. New entry, gluttony. Gluttony. That's so stupid. Goalkeeper Sam alone on the pitch, not realizing that the game had been abandoned 15 minutes earlier due to the heavy fog. My last brain cell. So the guy who took this photo is just watching him. He's just been sitting there for 15 minutes laughing. I get it. People who are highly intelligent have lower levels of satisfaction the more they socialize with friends. Yep, this would be via reddit.com, wouldn't it? Via reddit.com. Yep. Prehistoric hunter-gatherer tribes had an average group limit of 50 people. Incidentally, modern research shows that in the video game World of Warcraft, maximum group cohesiveness occurs at a limit of 50 players. Literally no difference between cavemen and WoW players. What's your rebuttal? Because right now you are looking awfully familiar to cavemen. So like, do caterpillars know they're going to be butterflies, or do they just build the cocoon and be like, what the hell am I doing? This post has messed me up more than any other on this site. In Nepal, tigers and people have learned to use the exact same forest trails at different times of day to reduce the chances of fatal encounters. Mom said it's my turn to use the jungle path. The brains of rats have a random mode that is switched on when they are in unfamiliar situations. Me, drunk at an apartment party. Me, sober at my job I've had for over a year. How old were you when you realized that this is actually a straw holder? The first taxidermy walrus was much larger. Lava? The first taxidermy walrus was much larger and smoother than a live walrus, as the taxidermist had never seen one before and overstuffed it to get rid of the wrinkles. Rehydrated walrus. Bro, I just realized that the Red Bulls at Target are to stop cars from crashing into it. Fun fact, the middle of nowhere was an actual place located in New Mexico. This morning, I found out that otters have a favorite rock that they store in a pouch under their arm and carry wherever they go. I cannot handle this. Adobe doesn't like it when people use Photoshop as a verb. Instead of saying, this image was Photoshop, they want you to say, this image was enhanced using Adobe Photoshop software. My nuts were enhanced by Adobe Photoshop software. How about that? King James put twin babies on an island to see if the children would speak the language of Eden. The children developed a communication method, but the experiment failed because no one knew what the language of Eden sounded like. The Middle Ages, everyone. English kings really didn't have anything to do, did they? The Arctic shrew is so territorial, if two are placed together, one will drop dead within a few days, even without physical injuries. A 5-day telepathic battle. Living with roommates. I've seen many videos of them. They are very, very terrifying. Today I learned until 2007, Russian astronauts were issued a sawed-off shotgun and machete to fight off Siberian bears and other wildlife upon landing back on Earth. They are now issued a semi-automatic pistol. My face when I'm out there foraging for berries, when a capsule crashes to the ground from the heavens and a cosmonaut comes out and points a gun at me. Humans domesticated dogs before they developed written language, and now the hairy little never will. That is so messed up. We took that chance away. Today I learned that a cat once co-authored a physics paper. In 1975, a physicist had just finished writing a paper and was ready to publish, but realized that he had used we instead of I throughout, despite being the sole author. Not wanting to edit the paper, he listed his cat, Chester, as a co-author. This is the cat, by the way. Everyone, please look at this seal that found a toy version of itself. Just learned that alligators don't float. They literally walk underwater. I'm forever unsettled. The reason why we view Neanderthals as hunched over and degenerate is that the first skeleton to be found was arthritic. Way to mess it up for your whole species, you idiot. I'm so glad every app now has a feature that reminds you how happy you were on this very day just a few years ago. Turtles are not inside their shells. They are their shells. When a British captive officer challenged French Navy officer with the words, "You French fight for money while we fight for honor," he replied, "Each of us fights for what he lacks most." I can't believe this guy killed the entire British Navy like that. The Greek philosopher Plato's real name is unknown, as Plato is his wrestling nickname. The Rock in 2500 years. Plato means broad in Greek. There are recorded instances in Aristotle's notes of Plato settling debates by standing up and flexing. Different opinion to me. Sorry, I can bench 500. Today I learned an American man built a log cabin in Alaska and then just kept adding more and more floors until he reached 185 feet. At this point, he was forced to stop building as federal airspace starts at 200 feet. In the future, he still intends to squeeze in one more floor, the Goose Creek Tower. Today I learned that in 2013, a scientist injected human brain cells into a mouse brain, which improved the mouse's memory and capacity to learn. To stop it from conquering the planet, they injected human brain cells from an incompetent weirdo into a separate mouse, and then put the two mice in the same cage, so the silly mouse will always frustrate the terrifying genius mouse's plan. I wonder what they're doing tonight. The same thing they do every night. A Russian scientist injected himself with a 3.5 million year old bacteria trapped in Siberian permafrost after successful experiments on mice and fruit flies. He says it made him flu-proof for the past 2 years and gave him more energy to work longer hours. Oh, so no one can drink the sarcophagus juice, but this guy can inject himself with an ancient bacteria? I see. Raccoons were able to open 11 of the 13 complex locks in fewer than 10 tries and had no problem repeating the action when the locks were rearranged or turned upside down. They can also remember the solutions to tasks for up to 3 years. The day the octopi and the raccoons form an alliance is the day humanity will perish. We'd have far more to fear if crows and raccoons united. While in college, the writer of Night at the Museum would regularly visit museums while high on drugs. Yeah, that makes sense. In 2019, a saxophonist was hired to compose a song for the critically endangered New Zealand bird, the kakapo, in order to put them in a romantic mood for mating. It seems to have worked, as 249 eggs were laid and 76 hatched during the breeding season. Bard. The astronauts of Apollo 11 were refused life insurance, so they signed photos of themselves so that their families could auction them for money. In case the landing failed and the crew were killed, the United States of America. Tapes had side A and side B, so it's only logical that their successor would be the CD. Can you believe there are plants that are illegal plants? Can you believe there is love that is illegal love? Can you believe there are people who are illegal? How old were you when you realized that you're going to be tired every day for the rest of your life? The new keyboard I ordered so I don't waste time arguing on the internet. Without lying, how old were you when you found this out? I was 30 years old. I can't tell if I'm a genius or an idiot because I just realized why they're called donuts. In 1508, Orton, France pressed charges on rats for destroying barley crops. The lawyer representing the rats argued that the court's summons wasn't specific enough to his clients, and that Orton's cat population made it unsafe for his clients to come to court. The rats were acquitted. I want to meet the guy who offered to represent the rats. Some scientists theorize that the origin of life is just the inevitable outcome of thermodynamics as a middle step to increase overall entropy in the universe. You what, mate? Bearer of the curse. Today I learned that in 1949, a member of the New Zealand Parliament was deemed to have used unparliamentary language for saying of another member that his brains could revolve inside a peanut shell for 1,000 years without touching the sides. died. Well, it is pretty rude to just straight up kill a man in Parliament like that. Today I learned the Sprite commercial was entirely improvised. Drake was in the room with a camera pointed at him. Everyone hushed to let him work. He smirked, opened his eyes, and said, "Watch this," before erupting soda from every hole. A survey in the early 1990s revealed that Mario was more recognizable to American children than Mickey Mouse. Serves that nasty mouse right. We like a hard-working Italian man. If you grind a marine sponge, throw a sieve into salt water, it'll reorganize itself back into a sponge. It's the only animal that we know of that can do that. How many animals have we done this to? Reminder behind every meme, there's a guy trying his best to make you smile. It took me 21 years to realize it's hard as hail, not hard as hell. I was today years old when I found this out. At what age did you learn that these holes were made to hold your plastic fork and spoon? Today. I can't believe. Whoa, I did not eat ice cream out of this. Today I learned that many non-English languages have no concept of a spelling bee because the spelling rules on those languages are too regular for good spelling to be impressive. You ever flex on English speakers by having a language that makes sense? We're ruining the planet. I'm sorry, who is this we? I don't recall myself running $1 billion oil business. Sometimes I use the Keurig, and I feel bad, but then I remember just 100 companies are responsible for 71% of global emissions. Yeah, this is actually insane. The term scientist was coined in the 1830s to describe Mary Somerville, a woman, because the usual term, man of science, didn't apply and she just wasn't a physicist, geologist, or chemist. She was all three. I will now be referring to all men who do science as male scientists. All scientists are female unless indicated otherwise. Just a reminder. Wait, oh, they're saying carry with your legs, not your back. I was today years old when I found out if you're not there, you're square because you're not around. Not only do deaf cats tend to purr and meow louder than hearing cats, they also enjoy shrieking loudly because of the vibrations it causes. Also, they have a favorite room to shriek in, such as a bathroom or kitchen with tile floors. The sound can reverberate off. That's right, deaf kitties have their own private screaming rooms. Why is the cat screaming? Cat location. Let's say I got my pee-pee stuck in a ketchup bottle, which I didn't. How would I get it out? Wait until it's soft and then pull it out. It's cutting off the blood flow and it won't go soft. Not that I did it. Then you're just gonna have to pray. Today I learned when babies first start emoting, they sometimes turn away in the middle of smiling at you because they're so overwhelmed by joy that they can't handle all the emotion and have to regulate by looking somewhere else. This is known as gaze aversion and is used to reduce their heartbeats. Charles Darwin married his first cousin, with who he had 10 children with. 3 died as infants, and 3 were infertile. He was the first to raise the question if incest may cause weakness in offspring after studying inbred plants in his garden. Charles Darwin, looking at his messed up tomatoes. Oh no, that's me. I can't believe I've gone my entire life not realizing the major interstates are in numerical order. How old were you when you realized that est in first, the nd in second, and the in third? It's because it's the last 2 letters of the numbers in words. Reminder, Darth Vader once took off his mask and he was dead within 5 minutes. A fish with a transparent head was discovered over 2,000 feet deep in the ocean. It can rotate its eyes to track prey. Nature really is amazing. No, it's all connected. I just learned what a live conch looks like. How is there not a Pixar film about these guys? They look like anteaters. I just discovered that hospitals have baby vests to evacuate all the newborns in case of an emergency. The only good thing in the world today is that I learned orphaned baby bats are often wrapped in blankets to mimic the warm embrace of their mother's wings. The KFC Twitter account only follows 11 people, the 5 Spice Girls, and 6 guys named Herb. This is because of their secret blend of 11 herbs and spices. The first person to notice and point this out was sent a painting of himself holding a drumstick while riding piggyback on the Colonel. What is KFC's marketing tactic? This is incredible. Today I learned when Cleopatra and Julius Caesar met and subsequently became lovers, she was 21 and he was 52. Are you sure you don't mean Leonardo DiCaprio? New York City has a genetically diverse rat population. Uptown rats are different from downtown rats, and every neighborhood has their own distinct rat. Uptown rat living in a no. McDonald's almost got rid of its golden arches in the 1960s. The arches were only kept because of a psychologist they hired said they had great Freudian importance in the subconscious mind of customers. That's such a Sigmund move. They represented Mother McDonald's. No way, this has to be fake. This is why we need to dig up Sigmund and kill him again. McBoobies. This post was bad enough, you didn't need to make it worse. The first first time a cell captured another cell and turned it into mitochondria. I paid my 15-year-old $10 to do the dishes. Then, on his way to the bathroom, I mugged him because it's my job to teach him life lessons. I was today years old when I realized the hole in the pasta spoon is used to measure a serving size. Something about NASA's new spacesuit design looks kind of familiar. Learning that paprika is just dried and crushed raw bell peppers was really shocking. Like, I don't know why I thought there was a paprika tree somewhere. The first known case of dying from laughing involved the Greek man called Chrysippus, who, after giving figs to his donkey, cried out, "Now give the donkey a drink of pure wine to wash down the figs," had a fit of laughter afterwards and died. Pretty funny, I guess. Had to be there. Our walking speed is affected by who we're with. Men's pace slows down by an average of 7% when walking with a female partner they're interested in. Women walking together moved the slowest, and men walking with male friends moved at speeds faster than either man's preferred walking speed. Speedruns my trip to the grocery store by walking with 5 of the boys and only getting stalled at the unskippable cutscene checking out with the cashier. You can skip the cutscene, but you have to use a glitch called shoplifting, which is frowned upon in the gamer community. Back in the day, you sometimes had to climb out of the cockpit to restart the propeller. The ideal pair of female hands based on science would be approximately 0.75 meters long, have several fingers and contain at least 5 bones. A divot on the end of each finger is also considered highly desirable. 0.75 meters is like 2 feet long. What are you talking about? The ideal pair of hands? If you click the link, it just leads to a blank page that says, "The divots are for scooping up salsa." Nobody. Gasoline when water falls on it. Do you blow on your food when it's hot? Or do you till you can chew it? I do. I blow on it but underestimate how hot it I dated this blind girl till she broke up with me a few weeks ago. Guess who's back with a different— I mean, you can do this, but you need to change everything. So maybe get plastic surgery as well. When trees evolved, nothing could decompose them until a fungi learned. All coal comes from before the fungi learned. The way this post is worded, so delightful. I absolutely cannot stop reading it over and over. Everyone should know that this animal exists. It's a Cantor giant soft-shell turtle. It spends 95% of its life buried and motionless. We have a lot in common. The chances of us eating one spider in our sleep throughout our lifetime is close to 0. Did something happen to Spider's gorge? No, he was an outlier, but he counted. Instead of "till death do us part," how about "for as long as this feels healthy, safe, and meaningful for both of us"? Nah, no, "till poop do us fart." I think that's better. This old lady came to the bank I work at to withdraw $10. I told her that for withdrawals less than $100, she has to use the ATM. So she asked to withdraw $1,000 in $10 bills. It sucked, but I counted it out and handed her the money. She took $10, gave me $990 back, and said, "Deposit this." Did you know that the arrow in the Amazon logo points from A to Z to indicate that they sell— Yes, I did know that. America's big 4 rival pizza chains, Domino's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, and Little Caesars, all but their cheese from the same man, James Leprino. He sells 1 billion pounds of cheese each year. The last— what? When you realized American Gothic depicts a farmer and his daughter, not his wife. The internet meme Nyan Cat, the one originated from 25-year-old Christopher Torres from Texas, who created the animated GIF in 2011. In a live stream, 2 different people had suggested he draw a Pop-Tart and a cat, so he created a hybrid. The design was inspired by his pet cat, Marty, who died in 2012. A baby born on 11/11/11, Skyrim's release date, was named Dovahkiin by the parents, and they received a lifetime of Bethesda games as a result. Imagine getting a cringe name for life, just so your parents can get a stream of bad games from a bad studio. 1 free game every 7 years, but it's always Skyrim. The longest work of fiction is a Super Smash Bros. Fanfiction called The Subspace Emissary World Conquest. That is 4 million words long and spans 220 chapters as of now. That is twice as long as the longest novel, Men of Goodwill, by Jules Romain, which is wow, that's a lot of words. Did you know the lower the number on the McDonald's ketchup, the sweeter it is, and the higher, the more sour? I did not know this, and I didn't even know they did this with the Packers. This has to be old. I saw a TikTok that said MJ wore a hoodie on the Thriller cover album, so I had to look for myself. This man is in a zip-up hoodie with a suit. Ew, Michael, what is this? How didn't I notice this? I mean, I could say it doesn't work, but I mean, you probably had loads of stylists, so I guess it does work.